Hi everyone. So in this particular part of the character project, what you were doing is putting together a collection of high resolution photographs, and you were finding a photograph for each of the different parts of your character. And you were asked to have at least 5 photographs for your collection. And if you only had 5 parts, 5 just individual parts for your character, if you want to, you can just create, other possible photographs for different parts. Like, for example, if you, have just 5 parts here and you have 5 photographs, you could, find different photographs for the same part, because it's always good to, when an assignment says have at least 5 images, what it's suggesting is that you should have more. And so that's actually a really good thing to do for this assignment, because oftentimes having alternate photographs gives you just more options. So that's, again, just a good tip here. But in terms of putting together your collection of photographs, keep in mind that oftentimes what you may be doing later on when you start putting your character together next week, when we put it together, is that you may find a photograph you chose this week which seemed to be really good and really worked, you thought it would work really good, but then when you put it in your character, you're like, oh, this particular um, photograph, just I think I need to go back and search a little bit more for something else. And that is totally normal, and what you should be doing, because that it's a very organic process. You want your character to just be the best it possibly can. So feel free to make substitutions. Also, feel free to change, the object itself. Like if you chose like a pineapple for the head and you're like, oh, this doesn't seem very, I don't like the way it looks when you put it together, just change it. That's fine to do, and even this week too. Um, so I think that's about it that I wanted to say for an introduction. What we're going to do is just go through everybody's um, projects and just see how the photographs are working, if there's any kind of changes we could make. Yeah, and that's about it. If you haven't yet seen the video I did on Google Images, I posted it a few days ago on the announcements board, just how you can use Google Images to search for images. Feel free to take a look at that. And yeah, okay, well, let's get started. Okay, so I just popped over from Adobe Bridge, which we were in before, which you actually can look at PDFs in, but sometimes I find that I'm over in Adobe Acrobat right now, and sometimes I find that's a little bit better for seeing photographs. Okay, Cal, all right, so here is your sketch. Good. And we'll just take a look through. You've got, I think you've got 12 images. Awesome. Nice to see so many images. And yeah, you're right. It takes a while to find images. There's so many out there. I know. Okay, yeah, this is good. I like this one. Okay, so what do I like about this one? Um, I usually spend more time talking about the first project that comes up on my board. You know, I hope you don't mind. I use your project to kind of talk about some ideas that will be helpful to everybody. And what makes this a good photograph, there's a few things here. The first thing always is that it looks to be high resolution. I can typically tell right away. You all typically can, but if you zoom into an image, now, of course, you can check the pixel size in Photoshop. You can just open an image and look at the bottom, your JPEG, and look at the bottom of your image in Photoshop. Maybe we'll do that in a little while if I remember. You can actually see the pixels down there, but you can just sort of look at it and glance at it and look. So I've zoomed in a little bit, and it still looks great. So you start to see the pixels. Wow, it's going to take a while. It's maybe just a little tiny bit here, but that is um, that's good. And so what else is good about this image? It's got a lot of good lighting on it. Like this black sometimes can look a little flat because it's hard for light to be seen on it, but this one it's a little shiny, and the lighting is really good here. So you can see the light here in these different places, and it gives it a sense of three-dimensional quality, you know? So that's something to think about, you know, not just in this class, but photographs in general. When you start seeing things rounded or shaped, um, I mean, when they are that way and then the photograph catches it, that's going to be a good image because it's catching the form. This one's good too. This one's actually, I looked at this pen right here, and this pen is almost overlapping the pot, but not quite. So it would be a problem if it overlapped. Why? Because well, it's touching a little bit, but I think it's going to be fine. If it overlapped more, then if you were going to show this part, like if this little part here was being seen, not like covered by another part of your character, then we would have lost that part in there. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the whole thing. Okay, this looks good, great, easy to select. These look good too. Now this is interesting. You can you see along this edge here, there's this kind of little bit of raggedy stuff. This actually sometimes happens. This is not because it's low resolution. So see, we can zoom in here. It's actually, we're getting just the faintest amount of pixels here. It's actually just because sometimes when you have a higher resolution image and then you zoom out, like you make it smaller, sometimes you get these little edges. So it's really nothing to be worried about in our particular situation. Okay, so this is nice too. This one here, you know, this one, I would say, okay, this is your pot. This is a little pixelated. Can you see that? You know, when I zoom in and so I might find something maybe a bit different for this particular one. It's also got, I don't know, we have to go back to your sketch, but it also has this glove in front of it, which may, depending upon what part of the watering can you wanted to use, may be something that gets in the way of that, you know. And if you're going to use these pots, these look a little bit maybe a little blurry, although I love the reflection. They're pretty cool. In other ways, this is a really good photograph. Like, I can see why you chose it. It's like good, you know, good lighting and good composition. It's really just, I think, the low resolution parts and such. So, okay, the garden gnome. So this, yeah, definitely. Can you see all of the little pixels happening here? So this is what we would call low resolution image. So we probably wouldn't want to use this. This one too, you can see the little, like it almost looks like little stairs stepping up and down. And sometimes you can kind of, it almost looks like things sort of get a little bit sort of blurry when it's, so this one too is low resolution. So you want to replace all these. Let's go to, that looks good. And this is also, yeah, pixelated. You can see the little stepping stone. Although it's a beautiful image, actually. This would be fantastic if you found a higher resolution version of this, you know. So, okay, great. So let's actually go into Google Images here for a moment. So here we are in Google Images, and so I'm going to just do what I did in that video I mentioned before. So I already actually did that here. So I want to go larger, somewhat arbitrary, like 800 by 600, but I always like to be even a little bigger. 1024 by 768 can work really good. And then we can just go through here, and then any image that we find in here will be the right pixel size. Now you can do this with your garden gnome as well to try to find, let's just choose this one right here. Okay, let's see. So, okay, so I had a really good question in questions to the professor, I think over the weekend. Oops. Over the weekend, a student asked, "Can I just take the image from here, right here?" You know, I feel like at one point Google allowed you to do that to get the original image, but right now it seems when you do that, so I just right-clicked, and if I save image as right here, what happens is oftentimes well, let's just double check this. Oftentimes what happens is that we get a thumbnail. Let's just save that. We get a thumbnail rather than the image here. And we can actually look down below here. So it says 1200 by 1200. That's a great size image. But sometimes, so it actually, have it here in Photoshop. Let's just go down here below and look here. And this, in this case, it actually downloaded the correct size, like the size I want, which is awesome. So that might happen. But sometimes, again, what happens is you get the sketch, I mean the thumbnail. So what I always typically will do is go through to the page. And sometimes what happens when you go through to the page is you know, oh, okay, all right, is that you end up let's see, with also with possibly an image that doesn't work. In this case, actually, I was better. Oh, there we go. So now we can download it. We'll go to Save Image As. So sometimes with these shopping websites, they've got a lot of kind of stuff happening that allows you to zoom in so you can't download stuff. That's one of the downsides of Google Images. But I like Google Images because it's, you know, free and there's a lot going, you know, there's a lot in here. So anyhow, so you can go through here and again, you can try it here first, or you can also go right here and visit the website. And then, you know, go and find that image. And this would work too right here. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. Let's get back to your assignment. Okay, so that's it. So that's all I think you need to do here is just replace those images I mentioned. And what you can do is just you know, take them out of your image collection altogether. You know, if you've got a folder that you put all your JPEGs in, just take the ones you are not going to use, these ones here, and then just replace them, the new ones, and then just recreate your PDF again. And then you'll be good to go. Susan, yes, backups. That's an awesome thing to do. Backups meaning like different angles. Yeah, why not? Okay, here is your character. And let's just go through your images. Yeah, that looks great. You know, you'll be able to, you can see some of these blueberries are out of focus, right? So you'd want to, like even that one, so you'd want to just focus probably on, you know, maybe this one, or this one's probably going to be, this one here is probably going to be a little hard to select, so maybe one of these two, you know? And that looks great. Look at the pattern in there. It's really amazing when you start looking at fruits and vegetables, all the different sort of beautiful kind of designerly types of things that are in them, you know, like these beautiful radiating lines and the colors. That looks good too. This one here, let's just zoom in a little bit. Again, you just sort of find the one, well, it depends what you're going to do. Maybe you want to select this whole thing, right? That could be something that you're planning on doing, is using this whole piece, like bit of lettuce, which I think would be, you know, great for, you know, if that works for your character, because that would be easy to select against the background. This one here, let's see here. Oranges, what's your oranges going to be? I think it's your head, right? Twizzler, watermelon slice. Orange with leaf. Oh, orange with leaves. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, you might be able to work with this one. It might be a little hard to select and hide stuff, but you might be able to do it depending upon what you're doing. I know you had something going on the top of that. So, oh, that's a cute one, the little peeps. Twizzlers. Yeah, that looks good. Twizzlers are hard. They can be a little bit of a hard element to work with because it's hard to kind of get the lighting showing up so that you see the little curves in there. So again, I've noticed from previous students that the Twizzler is a little challenging. So if you need to, feel free to change that Twizzler to something else that's long, like a long piece that would fit into that part of your character. That looks good. Okay, these all look good. For the peep one, I go back to this, I love peeps. I might keep looking potentially for another image. This is, I mean, this is in good focus. It's got good resolution. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is It doesn't quite have, it has some of the shape indicated here with the shadow, but some around here it gets a little flat. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's see. Let's go into Google Images. Yeah, let's see here. So that actually, I sort of just took a quick look here, and let's change the term here. Yeah, they don't tend, yeah, these are all a little bit similar in the sense that they're a little, they clearly are a little hard to photograph, aren't they? Especially the original Peep. Well, maybe that's a little small, right? It's 400 by 366, but so you may just want to keep the one you have for now, and see how it goes. If you need to make changes, change it out, do some more searching later, you can. Hmm. That's a Getty image right here. Getty images are kind of like the premier stock photo site. Premier, I meaning like they're kind of the best of the best. And stock photo sites are really where professional photographers submit their work to be sold on the marketplace, like to designers and advertisers and such. So stock photo sites are where you sometimes can get free images, but oftentimes they want to charge you because it's what they're selling. But Getty images are like really, if you get a photograph from them, it's really top class because they've good professional photographers, and they also have people working on staff to do little sort of mini sort of adjustments, kind of like some of what we're going to be learning in this class, but just at a more sort of refined level of color correcting and removing imperfections and all that kind of stuff. So this is their, so by way of saying, when I see this image, I go, okay, this is like the best that a professional photographer can take an image of. So here's Getty image. And so they're, typically they don't let you, unfortunately, download high resolution images for free. You might be able to get, I don't know, you could kind of go in there. Oh, see, then they watermark it, right? There's the watermark. Whew, look how expensive that could be. They actually, so that's probably not uh, how stock photo sites charge is they charge based on what you're going to be using it for. So the bigger the ad campaign, the more, like, the higher the price. So anyhow, so leave what you have for now, and see how it goes. Okay, Lawrence. All right. Yeah, here's your sketch. Great. Okay, cheese. Yes, that looks great. Nice job with that. Look at that. So yeah, I like to zoom in again just because then you can really see the resolution. That looks good. This looks great too. So this yeah, so it looks so typically when we see like a French fry container, we'll see graphics on it. But this doesn't have any graphics, which is great because it makes it easier to use for this assignment. So nice job finding that. And this looks great too. Nice. Yes. And great. Yep. This looks great. Yeah. So these all look really, really good. And was there, let's see here. The corn dog did I see that in there, or was that something? Maybe just put a note in there, or when you submit it, if somehow it's something else is going to be used for it. I don't see it in here. So if you're missing that, that would be the only thing that I would change here, is add in a corn dog. All right, good job. Yeah, you've got such a cool creature here. It's like kind of like some sort of insect or sea creature kind of that it's based on, which is really great. It makes it a very creative approach to how it's going to move. Okay, so you have this element, I think, is going to be in here. That looks great. You can really see the clarity and the dimension in it and the resolution. That looks really great. And then these guys here, yeah, that looks really great too. And yeah, that one looks wonderful. So like this one has a little tiny bit of text on it, but it's very subtle, right? And it's not kind of changing the you know, the form in any way or flattening it out. So I think that, you know, you at some point when you add it later, we're gonna, I think it's milestone 5, we're gonna learn how to take things, like how to just correct things, like just take things out. And this would be actually very easy to take out if you wanted to. So, you know, looking forward. The same with this, it's got these, it's actually in a way just adds to the dimension of it. You know, it's a really nice little pattern. Okay, these all look great. So I would just say that it looks like you have 4 images here. So have at least 5 as a minimum. And if you can find 1 or 2 more, just like a few different wrenches or, you know, just duplicates that are other views, you know, just to put them in there. That's, yeah, otherwise I think this is looking really good. All right, so it looks like you spent a little time kind of mocking this up, and why not? You're welcome to do that at this point. Although next week what we're going to do is learn some techniques for putting it together in the best possible way. So keep an eye out for what we're doing then. So just if you want to keep this in, that's fine, but just please do add your sketch in from last week, whatever sketch you chose. That would be fabulous. And yeah, so for this one right here, it looks like maybe this is a little bit low resolution. Can you see how when I just go in just a little bit, it starts getting a little blurry? So if you can, I would find maybe a head that's a little bit, let's go back to your original here, just has a little bit more pixels in it. That would be really great. And this one looks quite good. Yeah, I like this one. Look at it's got nice detail on it, the lighting, which is really wonderful, all the light and shadow. That's a really great image. This one also looks good. And this one here, it's I think it's, you know, it's, yeah, let's see, what is this going to be in your character? Yeah, okay, so yeah, up here, I think that will be fine. Though my hesitance, I was hesitating a little because it felt a little flat. And if it was going to be a really big part of your character, then, you know, it could be something to look into further, but I think where you placed it, I think it will be a good choice in your character design. And then this final one, where is that going to be in your character? This looks like some kind of wire. So I would say rather than having like a piece of something, that it's always better in this project to do what you've done like right here, is to have like the whole object being a part of it. So I might reconsider this. Maybe, do you even need this as part of your character? Now I can't see your sketch right now, so I don't know how you sketched it, but I might consider, instead of using this element, maybe using 2 popsicle sticks for your legs. Maybe that would give it more of that kind of character quality of, you know, like thinking of how is this going to come to life. And so right now, don't worry, you know, just use your sketch as a guide. Don't worry too much about putting it together anymore in Photoshop. I'd like you to save your time just for looking for photographs. So I'd like you to just replace this one and replace this one, and make sure you have at least 5 photographs in your collection. Okay? Yes, exactly. That is exactly what we're going to do next week. In fact, maybe at the end of this critique, I'll just point you guys in the direction of how to get started with with your photographs. But let's just take a look here. So yeah, so it looks like what you did when you drew this last week. You know, I looked at so many sketches. I think I understood this, but I can't. Now I see that it's like the head is here, right? And it's got a little tail, which is very cute. And so it's sort of swimming downwards, maybe. I was reading this as a head, which I think was maybe incorrect. Okay, well, that's a nice image. Nice. Very nice. 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 Yeah, that's a nice, actually, that's a pretty nice Twizzler, as Twizzlers go. You know, you can select this one right here. So yeah, these all look really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Okay, I think that you are good with that. All right, so let's actually take just a minute here to, you know, sort of give you an idea of where we're headed. So here's M3 Task 2 instructions. This is the caricature construction, and you're going to be using something called layer masks to do that. And so what you want to do is use this. There's a little tutorial here in here. It's literally, I don't know, like it's like 4.5 minutes long, super short, but it's really the best. Uh, the woman who did this like just really basically made it so easy to do this. So make sure you use this and follow along with this video. This is really the best method for creating layer masks. It'll make it so much easier than anything else. And our textbook exercise, which comes before, doesn't have as good instructions on layer masks than this one does. So this little video here. So make sure you look at that. And what you're going to have here is, and you know, our textbook exercise, I have to say, oh, there it is. Yeah, it does have everything. So it's going to look, you're going to just build your character, put it together as best you can, and then using any text you want, just write your name in. You don't have to design it or anything, just put your name, whatever Eclipse Entertainment gave you in Milestone 1. Like, this is Terrible Toys Todd, which is one of our characters. And that's it. So that's, you can, you know, if you're good to go with your photographs at this point, you actually could just skip ahead and start working on this if you like, and get to know layer masks. That's the major thing that we will be working on next week, is this idea of layer masks. So so you could actually start learning about layer masks even before you work on the textbook exercise by using this video. You know, typically we use the textbook exercise first and then go on and apply it to the caricature project. But in this particular milestone, I do think it's okay to just move forward with this video because you'll learn a lot from it. Okay? All right, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for your hard work getting your photographs together.